We follow directions to do things incorrectly. One of the best examples of this that I've experienced is I moved living situations. Whenever you move, you need to transfer your electrical, your internet, all of your bills and other services that are linked to a physical address need to be moved to the new one. When I went through this process, I was prepared 2 months in advance. I called up my electrical provider and I said, I'm moving in 2 months. I already have the date. I have everything planned out. Um, when can I schedule for this to happen? And they said, oh, you can't do that. You need to call back 2 weeks before your move. I said, okay. Hung up, waited until the 2 week mark. 2 week mark approaches. I call. I say, hey, I'm moving in 2 weeks. I was told to call back within this time frame. Can I schedule for my service to be moved? They said, yeah, sure. Went through the whole process, gave them the information of where I currently was to where I was moving to, and I double checked and confirmed, and I said, so my service will end at my present location on this date and time, and service will start at this location on this date and time. Is that correct? They said yes. I double checked and I asked again. I said, this move will happen automatically. I don't need to do anything else or engage further to make this happen. Is that correct? They said yes. So at that point I felt that I had covered my bases. I had done everything that I needed to do. 2 weeks go by, I move in, all's well. I have electricity, I get the notification saying, oh, your service has been canceled at your old location. I never got anything for the new location though. And I thought, I don't need to worry about it. They said everything was taken care of. Everything was taken care of. 4 months later, I get a text message notification that says, hi, we've noticed that you haven't paid your bill in a couple months. Since this is the 4th month, we're enrolling you in a catch-up plan. I was confused and concerned, so naturally I gave my electric company a call and I said, why am I being enrolled in a catch-up plan? I've moved my service, I've been paying my bill. And because I had autopay set up. And they said, well, it shows here that you haven't paid in 3 months. And I said, okay, let me get into the portal on my side and let's look at the same thing. Couldn't log in. Tried a different password. Couldn't log in. I tried to reset my password. It said the account didn't exist. I'm on the phone with customer service throughout this whole time and I said, it says my account doesn't exist. I don't understand. I have an account. I had an account at my old location. I haven't deactivated or changed my account. All I did was move my service. And they said, did you complete setup again? What do you mean did I complete setup again? There was an email that got sent to my spam inbox that was to complete registration and set up a new account for the new location. But they still had my phone number and email stored in the background. Why did I have to make a new account when I moved locations in the first place? Why was that not, and on top of that fact, why was I not told that I needed to make a new account when I moved locations? And a third part of that, why is it that the one email that I would want to receive from this company that isn't their promotional or enroll in this program for benefits, why is it the one email that I would want to receive goes to my spam inbox? And I don't get it in my inbox and know that it's there. I'll digress on that point, but moving forward, we spend probably another 10-15 minutes on the phone figuring everything out. I get a new account set up for my new location, and I double check again and ask, is there anything else that I need to do here? And she said, no, in the future, if you move again, you'll need to go through the same process. I was still enrolled in the catch-up program, and I said, how can I not be in this catch-up program? And she said, okay, well, you're going to have to pay the last 3 months, and then whenever this current month's bill comes in, you're going to have to pay that as well. And I said, I just want to pay all of it here on the phone. Just put all of it on one bill, even if I pay this next month's amount already, because it was posted, it just wasn't payable. I don't understand how that works. But I said, just let me pay all of it right now. I paid all of it, everything was good, got off the phone, and I went back to my day. I'm sharing this and I'm expressing this because there are a lot of people, and if you're listening, you may be one of them, who don't just have almost $500 to spend on catching up on an electric bill. You may not have an additional $30 or $40 or $80 to spend every single month to catch up on missing an electric bill. Why was this even
on navigation, Tenno?
Why was this even a circumstance in the first place? Why was this even an issue that had to come up? Why is there a program in place to catch people up on missing their payments in circumstances like this? And granted, I will acknowledge up front, there are probably plenty of people that miss their payments because they can't pay for multiple months, and then they do need to have a catch-up program of some form. That still doesn't resolve the issue, though. That still doesn't remediate what's going on. Another example of how systems are broken and don't make sense is internet service providers. Every single time that you see something on TV, in an advertisement, on your phone, in a promo something or another, the price that they're advertising is the price for the first year. And then it jumps up the second year and it jumps up the third year. From the time that I started my service to, well, what next month would be, it will go from $55 to $105 for the exact same service. There's no need for them to do that. They could still provide that service at the lower rate. And the perfect example of that fact is if you call a month beforehand, let's say that your bill is due in December, or that's when you renew the year, whatever it is. If you call the first day of November, because they posted 2 weeks in advance and it can't be changed, If you call the first day of November and you say, hey, I'm expecting a significant price jump to my bill next month, and as a result, I would like to cancel my service. You're going to go through the process, sit there, and they're going to say, okay, would you like to talk to our retentions department before you go? Sure, that sounds great. Then you sit there and you talk with someone for 10, 15, 20 minutes to, quote, negotiate a deal back down to where it should be in the first place. And you can just do that year after year, every single year. Because retaining a customer to them is more important than actually getting that 2 times value. Why is that even a situation? It's crude. It's disrespectful. It's taking advantage of people that don't know better and just assume that's how things are. And that's not the case. That's not just how things are. And it shouldn't be just how things are. At the end of the day, both of those situations are 30 to 45-minute phone calls that I shouldn't have to make. They are 30 to 45 minutes out of my day that are not just wasting my time, but someone else is getting paid to waste their time to just put something back to where it should be in the first place. That's all it is. We're creating our own problem to effectively sell a solution. And I know it's nothing new. I know it's not a mind-blowing fact or eye-opening anything, but it's frustrating. You follow the instructions, you do it right, and you still manage to do it wrong. You can enroll for a service and have something advertised at a certain rate, and in 2 years' time, before you know it, it's 2 times that much and not even close to the original amount. Advertising is just a fancy way of lying to people. That's genuinely all it is. It's a way of manipulating others into doing something that isn't in their best interests and making them believe that there is no other way around it. Last part that I'll have here is, let's take that $50 increase every single month. Over the time span of a year, that is $600. Think about all the things that you can do with $600. In 2 years' time, you could buy a brand new phone. With $600, you can buy a new gaming console. With $600, you can have months and months of grocery shopping. If it's just you and a significant other, let me specify that. For a family of 4 or 5, more than that, probably not. But just think about how much you as an individual, with your daily responsibilities, with your daily worries and concerns, with the money that you struggle with. Think about how much $600 could help you. Every single year. Every single year you just have $600 more. That is not an insignificant amount of money. Another example of following the directions and things not ending up the way they, quote, should, is let's take the example that you just graduated college, or you've been working for a significant amount of time, but you can't find work, right? You can't find work, you're struggling, you're applying. You've been applying for months. Now, in this hypothetical, you've been fortunate enough to where you have a little bit of a nest egg under you, right? You have an amount of money that can sustain you for a couple months without any income. And you keep applying places that both utilize your degree and places that are lower than that don't, where you're not going to utilize your degree. And in one capacity or another, you just don't hear back, or they say you're overqualified, or whatever it is. You even apply to, let's say, a fast food place in the meantime, and they just never get back to you. Or they say, sorry, we're not hiring right now. In 3 to 4 months' time, you've burned through your nest egg. All of your benefits there. All of your support there. You still have a car payment to make. You still have insurance to pay. You still have rent or a mortgage or whatever it is to pay. You still have responsibilities. But if you can't pay, what ends up happening? Okay, well, if you can't pay your car note, then you lose your car. If you can't pay for insurance, you lose your insurance. If your lease isn't up and you get evicted from your living situation, from your apartment, because you just don't have the money, you still owe them because you technically broke a lease agreement. And then it's a negative spiral. You're put at a disadvantage, and you can't get that advantage back. The ability to then climb out of that hole, because now getting to places is more difficult. Transportation isn't as easy. You had a hit on your credit score now, so it's more difficult to get a vehicle or to apply for another living situation. It's a negative feedback loop, and it can stem from something very simple that could have been just a misunderstanding, or from difficulties and from things out of your control. We are actively discouraging people in this society from being able to live a life. We're raised with the idea of you perform well, you get good grades, you do what you're supposed to do, and then you go to college, and then you get your degree, and then you start working full-time applying your degree. Well, doesn't always work out like that. So, why are we forced to be in that bubble? Why are we forced to work within a system that at the end of the day doesn't care about us? Where in one capacity or another, if we're suffering, someone else is profiting off of it. If we're successful, someone else is profiting off of it. The only actual way to be your own person and to do your own thing in this day and age is to get out of society, become fully self-sustaining, live off grid. be able to do things for yourself without the assistance of others. But if you do that, you're an outcast. It's frowned upon, or whatever it may be. The people close to you, yeah, they'll likely understand. They'll hopefully be encouraging and supportive of you. But in the grand scheme, in the grand vision of society, you're an outcast. Because you're going against what the norm is. Our entire lives are following instructions to be told that we're doing things incorrectly. It's frustrating. It's disheartening. And it makes things feel hopeless. Thank you for your time.